Hello everybody, you are listening to Feed Your Mind. And so let's get right to it. Since the times of Pythagoras, there's been cults and little groups of people that practice worshiping the sun. Sun worship goes back to the beginning of time pretty much, and there's connections between sun worship and Lucifer, who is actually the light bearer and the morning sun. And so things really started taking place when Pythagoras created the heliocentric sun worship model. But the thing is, it didn't really take off as a popular belief system until about 500 years ago when Copernicus took up Pythagoras' work and takes credit for launching the actual heliocentric model to the world. And so about 500 years ago is when flat earth was pretty common knowledge. We all remember stories about Christopher Columbus thinking he was going to fall off the edge of the flat earth. That was all around 1492. And so that's pretty much around the same time that Copernicus was updating the Pythagoras heliocentric solar system model. He basically discovered that you're not going to fall off the edge of the earth if you go in a big circle. You see, the thing with that whole falling off the edge of the earth thing, that's not exactly how it works. Circumnavigation of the earth has only been done east to west, never south to north. And so with the center of the flat earth being the magnetic north pole, to travel east is not a straight line. You end up going in one big circle. And so east and west is never a straight line. It actually involves correcting your course, as demonstrated in the video. And so after Copernicus died, his books became public because it was pretty much blasphemy to think that the earth was heliocentric around that time. He was scared of the ridicule and the possible punishments that would have been involved with publishing a book about the earth revolving around the sun. And so his instructions was to release his findings after his death, and that's what happened. And so after Copernicus died, which is said to be May 14th, 1543, is when his heliocentric findings became public and the world began to transform. And so this launched a new wave of scientism where the science community was becoming more of a force to be reckoned with versus the church. And so there was a little resistance at first, but over the years and over the generations, the heliocentric globe earth model began to take root. And so the 1600s was much more accepting of the solar system model. And then the 1700s was pretty much all in. And then the 1800s, everybody was pretty much forgetting that anybody ever thought the earth was flat. And then around the 1900s, the flat earth was all but forgotten until around 1950. And that's when Admiral Byrd was sent on missions to actually look into this flat earth model, because the elite actually still knew about it. It was just the general public that had completely forgot about it. And so Admiral Byrd was sent on missions in Antarctica for almost about a decade. He was down in Antarctica looking for stuff. There was missions in Antarctica like Operation Deep Freeze and Project High Jump. And that's around the time that Admiral Byrd finally discovered a barrier in Antarctica. You see, there's reports that Admiral Byrd was losing planes in Antarctica due to an invisible shield that they were blaming on force field technology of the Nazis. But there was no force field technology. This invisible barrier was the dome firmament structure. Now, many people say there's other lands in Antarctica, and well, that could be. There could be an area where there's other land, and actually these extra lands is one of the reasons why some flat earthers say that they're hiding the flat earth, is because they feel there's extra lands beyond Antarctica that they are hiding. And so that would be kind of a good reason to hide the flat earth, is if there's other continents that nobody knows of that they don't want you to find out about. And so check out my video, Hidden Continents Discovered Beyond Antarctica, for much more information about the subject. And so these planes that Admiral Byrd was losing was due to the dome firmament structure that keeps us separated from what is outside the dome firmament. And so after one of Admiral Byrd's final missions down in Antarctica is when they wrapped up the whole Antarctic exploration team missions, and they put a big no trespassing sign on Antarctica that all of the nations agreed to. It's called the Antarctic Treaty, and this was established only 5 months after NASA was established. And so after Admiral Byrd's final mission in Antarctica, you got NASA that pops up and the Antarctic Treaty that pops up right around the same time. NASA was formed in order to control the skies and make sure that nobody gets high enough to realize that there is no outer space. And the Antarctic Treaty was created in order to keep people away from the edge so that nosy people can't go down there and start poking their heads around and finding what Admiral Byrd found. crown, which is the dome firmament structure, or how some of you might call the edge of the earth. And so nobody can fall off the edge, as a lot of globe earthers like to say. It's all enclosed within this barrier. And so how can all of these countries agree to never go to Antarctica again with this international Antarctic treaty, and yet there seems to be so many issues that we can't get along on? Besides that, this is evidence of a underhanded system where maybe this society is not exactly as divided as we might think. For the entire world to get along on this Antarctic treaty takes cooperation, and it also seems to suggest a partnership with all of the countries. Everybody agreeing that we will never break this one rule to never go down to Antarctica. And so that should also explain why all of the space agencies are also connected as well. You see, that whole space race was just propaganda, with the US and the Russians racing to be the first ones to land on the moon. Well, in July 20th of 1969, when the Americans were the first ones to land on the moon, why hasn't anybody else ever been to the moon since then? You see, with all of these space agencies around the world, especially the Russians, why would they just give up just because America made it there first? If there's a race going on and the winner crosses the finish line, do all of the runners just give up? Do they just walk away and hit the showers and take off and go home? No, they actually cross that finish line as well, even though they weren't the first ones. So why wouldn't any other country ever go to the moon is the question you must ask yourself. It's because there was no moon landing.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
Because we didn't go there, and we didn't go there, and
because we didn't go there, and
check out my video, Proof the Moon Landing was Science Fiction, for more information. The reason why they had to go to the moon is to provide a picture of the Earth as soon as possible so that they can keep control over the discovery that Admiral Byrd made about this flat Earth dome enclosed structure that we are living in. And so NASA took off and said, hey, look, we made it to the moon already. Nothing to see here. Here's a picture of the Earth. You see it's a globe, and everybody just back off now and go away. Check out my playlist, Proof the Edge of Flat Earth was Discovered and Hidden, the complete timeline, for much more information. I'll leave a link in the comment section and the description box. Simply enter your email address at feedyourmind1.com. That way I can send you some cool news briefs throughout the week. It's completely free. Please chip in $1 to $5 to help keep Feed Your Mind on YouTube by joining my VIP room. I'll leave a link in the comment section and the description box. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and click your notification bell. Include the title of your favorite video and you're automatically entered into a chance to win a free gift from my Feed Your Mind pop-up shop. This has been another episode of Feed Your Mind. Thank you for tuning in. Signing off.